As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. Look at the people wasting their lives, chasing distractions, drowning in meaningless entertainment, living for the approval of others. And then ask yourself, am I any different? You are running out of time, but you don't live like it. You live like you have another chance, another year, another opportunity to get serious. You don't. Every second that passes is one you will never get back, and yet you sit there hesitating, delaying, making excuses, acting as if you are promised tomorrow. You are not. Let me ask you, who is responsible for your life? Who is going to step in and do the work for you? Who is going to discipline your mind, sharpen your body, strengthen your spirit? No one. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to push you. If you don't wake up and take control of your life, you will waste it. And the saddest part, most people will. Most people will reach the end of their lives and realize they never truly lived. They never built themselves. They never focused. They let distractions steal their purpose. But you have a choice right here, right now. So listen carefully, because what I'm about to say might be the difference between a life of meaning and a life of regret. Listen to me. Time is running out. But you don't believe that, do you? You wake up every day, go through the same routines, entertain the same distractions, and live like you have an unlimited supply of days ahead of you. You think you can always start tomorrow. You think there's time to waste, but let me tell you something. That is a lie. That's the greatest deception you've bought into, and it will cost you more than you can imagine. Look back at your life. Look at all the days you've wasted, the conversations that didn't matter, the hours spent scrolling through meaningless garbage, the time given to people who drain you, the moments where you could have built yourself but chose comfort instead. Be honest with yourself. Where has it led you? Are you where you want to be? Have you become the person you were meant to be, or are you still standing in the same place, making the same excuses and wondering why nothing changes? You have to wake up. You have to understand that every second that slips through your fingers is a second you will never get back. You don't get to rewind time. You don't get a second life to fix your laziness, your lack of discipline, your wasted potential. You get one shot, one life, and you're throwing it away. And let me tell you why. It's because you don't feel the urgency. You've been lied to by a world that tells you to relax, to take your time, to enjoy yourself, to live for the moment. But that's not living. That's drifting. That's allowing life to pass by while you stand still. That's waiting for something to change while you do nothing. And let me tell you the truth. Nothing will change unless you do. Do you know why people never reach their full potential? It's not because they lack talent. It's not because they don't have opportunities. It's because they waste their time. They waste their energy on things that don't matter. They fill their minds with garbage, their lives with distractions, and their hearts with excuses. And then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel lost, why they feel like something is missing. It's because they're not living with purpose. They're just existing. You don't have time to exist. You don't have time to drift. If you truly understood how short life is, you would not waste another second. If you knew how quickly time runs out, you would not waste it on entertainment, on meaningless conversations, on the approval of people who don't even care about you. You would stop playing games. You would stop delaying what needs to be done. You have dreams, you have goals, you have things you say you want to accomplish, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence. It isn't talent. It's urgency. It's understanding that time will not wait for you. Life will not slow down just because you're not ready. You either take control now or you get left behind. Some of you think you'll start tomorrow. You say, I'll get serious later. I'll focus when I feel motivated. I'll work hard when I have more energy. I'll change when the time is right. But let me tell you something. Tomorrow is not promised. The time is never right. If you keep waiting, you will wake up one day and realize that life has passed you by, and all you have left is regret. You don't feel it now, but you will. You will look back and wish you had started sooner. You will wish you had been more disciplined. You will wish you had stopped caring about things that didn't matter, but by then it will be too late. The opportunity will be gone, the time will have run out, and you will be left with nothing but wasted years and a heart full of regret. And listen, regret is a painful thing. It will eat you alive. It will remind you every single day of what you could have been, what you could have done, how much time you let slip away while you were busy doing nothing. And that pain, it will be unbearable. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? What excuse are you still holding on to? What lie have you believed that keeps you from doing what needs to be done? Because let me tell you the truth, no one is going to save you from your own laziness. No one is going to pull you out of your wasted time. No one is going to force you to become better. That's on you. You can sit there and keep living like time doesn't matter. You can keep pretending that you have all the time in the world. You can keep entertaining distractions, chasing pleasure, avoiding responsibility. But one day, time will catch up with you. And when it does, there will be no excuses left. So make a decision. Right here, right now. Stop wasting time. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop living like you have another chance. You don't. This is it. Your life is happening right now, and what you do today will determine what you become tomorrow. Don't waste another second. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. Let me tell you something, and I need you to hear this clearly. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to force you to grow, to be disciplined, to stay focused. No one is going to grab you by the hand and drag you to where you need to be. If you don't take responsibility for your own life, you will stay exactly where you are, weak, unfocused, and filled with regret. And yet, most people don't get this. They sit around waiting for someone to push them, waiting for someone to motivate them, waiting for life to magically change on its own. But it won't. Nothing changes unless you do. You have to wake up. You have to realize that the reason you're not where you want to be has nothing to do with other people. It has nothing to do with your past, your circumstances, or your excuses. It has everything to do with the fact that you have not taken control of your own life. Look around you. Look at the people who are successful, the ones who are disciplined, the ones who are living with purpose. Do you think they got there because someone held their hand? Do you think they became strong by waiting for someone to motivate them? No, they made a choice. They decided to take responsibility for themselves. They stopped looking for outside help, and they did what needed to be done. But most people will never do that. Most people want everything to be easy. They want shortcuts. They want someone to tell them exactly what to do. They want life to be comfortable. And because of that, they remain weak. They remain distracted. They remain slaves to their own laziness. You cannot afford to be like that. If you want to grow, if you want to be strong, if you want to live with purpose, then you must take full responsibility for yourself. You must stop expecting others to do the work for you. No one is going to carry you to success. No one is going to force you to wake up early, to train your body, to sharpen your mind. That is your job, and listen to me. It will be hard. It will be uncomfortable. There will be days when you don't feel like pushing forward. There will be moments when you want to quit. But if you give up every time it gets hard, then you don't really want to be better. You just want the idea of success without the cost of discipline. And I see it everywhere. People say they want to improve. They say they want to be strong. They say they want to change, but when it comes down to it, they don't do what's necessary. They avoid discomfort. They run from discipline. They expect someone else to carry them. And that's why they never grow. Do you know why people fail? It's not because they don't have talent. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because they refuse to take control of themselves. They blame others. They blame circumstances. They blame everything except the real problem, themselves. You want to know the truth? No one owes you anything. No one is obligated to make your life easier. No one is required to guide you, to motivate you, to push you forward. If you sit around waiting for that, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. You have to decide right now that you will be responsible for your own growth. You have to decide that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much discipline it requires, you will push through, because if you don't, you will lose. You will wake up years from now, still weak, still undisciplined, still the same person you are today. And the only person you will have to blame is yourself. So let me ask you, are you going to keep making excuses? Are you going to keep waiting for someone to save you? Or are you going to take responsibility and do the work that needs to be done? The choice is yours. Look at your life. Look at the things you give your attention to, the things you allow into your mind. Look at how much of your time is spent on distractions, entertainment, worthless conversations, and things that add absolutely nothing to your growth. And yet you wonder why you feel lost, you wonder why you are weak, you wonder why you struggle to focus, to stay disciplined, to move forward. The answer is right in front of you. Your mind is full of noise. You were never meant to live like this. You were never meant to fill your head with garbage, to be consumed by the opinions of others, to waste your energy on things that don't matter. But the world is designed to keep you distracted. Every day, something is fighting for your attention. Social media, entertainment, news, opinions, gossip, worthless debates. Everything around you is trying to pull you away from what actually matters. And the sad thing, most people fall for it. Most people live their entire lives in this fog, this endless cycle of distraction. They never think deeply. They never build anything. They never develop themselves. They just consume and consume and consume. And then they wonder why they never reach their potential. But listen, you are not meant to live like that. You were not created to be weak. You were not created to waste your time on meaningless things. You were meant to grow, to be strong, to be focused. But that will never happen if you continue allowing distractions to own you. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence? When was the last time you took control of your own thoughts instead of letting the world fill your mind with nonsense? Most people can't even sit alone for 5 minutes without reaching for their phone, without needing to be entertained, without needing to hear what someone else has to say. That is weakness. That is the sign of a person who has lost control of their own mind. If you want to grow, if you want to be disciplined, if you want to actually do something with your life, then you must cut off the noise. You must remove everything that weakens your focus. You must become intentional about what you allow into your mind. Because if you don't, then the world will control you. It will shape your thoughts. It will make you into a person who is incapable of deep thinking, incapable of focus, incapable of discipline, and that is exactly why most people fail. You see it everywhere. People who know everything about celebrities, about movies, about trends, yet they know nothing about themselves. They have spent their whole lives filling their minds with useless information, and now they wonder why they lack direction. It's because they never took control of what entered their minds. They allowed everything in, and as a result, they became weak, distracted, and purposeless. But that does not have to be you. You can take control. You can silence the noise. You can stop entertaining things that don't make you stronger. You can train yourself to be focused, to be disciplined, to be sharp, but it will require something of you. It will require sacrifice. It will require you to stop wasting time on pointless conversations. It will require you to stop chasing approval from people who don't even care about you. It will require you to stop filling your mind with garbage and start filling it with wisdom. It will require you to be different. And that's what stops most people. They don't want to be different. They don't want to cut off distractions because distractions make them feel comfortable. They don't want to separate themselves from the noise because the noise makes them feel like they belong. But listen to me. If you want to be strong, you must be willing to stand alone. You must be willing to turn off the distractions, to step away from the nonsense, to live with a level of focus that most people will never understand. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. It will feel strange at first. When you cut off distractions, when you stop consuming entertainment, when you stop wasting time on things that don't matter, you will feel it. Your mind will fight against it. You will crave the comfort of distraction. But that is the process of breaking free. That is the process of rebuilding your mind. That is the process of becoming someone who is not controlled by the world, but who controls themselves. Because at the end of the day, that is what separates the strong from the weak. The strong do not allow their minds to be filled with nonsense. The strong do not let distractions own them. The strong are intentional about their time, about their energy, about their focus. And that is exactly what you must become. So I ask you, how much longer will you let distractions control your life? How much longer will you allow meaningless things to steal your time, your energy, your focus? When will you finally make the decision to cut off the noise, to discipline your mind, to take control of your own life? Because the truth is, If you don't, you will lose. You will wake up years from now, still weak, still distracted, still living in the same cycle of meaningless consumption, and by then, it will be too late. Silence the noise, cut off what weakens you, take control of your mind, and do it now. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. You have two choices in life, two, not 10, not 5, two. You either embrace discipline now or you suffer regret later. That's it. There is no middle ground. There is no easy way. There is no comfortable path that leads to success, to strength, to purpose. You either pay the price now or you pay it later. And listen to me, the price later is far more painful. The cost of regret is something you do not want to experience, because one day you will wake up and realize you wasted your time. You wasted your potential. You wasted the life you were given, and at that point there will be nothing you can do to change it. Time will be gone. Opportunities will have passed, and all you will have left is the pain of knowing that you could have been more, but you chose not to be. So the question is, what are you going to do now? Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel like it. Now. Because every second you delay, you are making a choice to stay weak, a choice to remain undisciplined, a choice to live like time is something you can afford to waste. But you can't. You don't have unlimited time. You don't have endless chances to get it right. You have one life, and what you do with it matters. Most people don't understand this. Most people live as if they will never run out of time. They put off discipline, they put off hard work, they put off sacrifice, and they do it because they think they can always start later, but later never comes. Later turns into never. Later turns into a life wasted on distractions, laziness, and regret. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not intelligence. It's one thing: discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. The ability to push through pain, through discomfort, through difficulty, because you understand that the cost of discipline is always less than the cost of regret. Discipline is hard, it hurts, it requires sacrifice, but listen, so does failure, so does regret, so does looking back at your life and realizing you never became who you were supposed to be. And when that moment comes, when you finally understand what you've wasted, it will be too late. You cannot buy back time. You cannot go back and undo your choices. You will either reap the rewards of discipline or you will suffer the consequences of laziness. There is no in between. And you know exactly what needs to be done. You know the areas of your life where you lack discipline. You know the things you keep putting off. You know the habits that are making you weak. You don't need someone to tell you. You already know. But knowing is not enough. If you don't act on it, it means nothing. You say you want to be strong. You say you want to be successful. You say you want to live with purpose. But saying it means nothing if your actions don't align with it. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to be disciplined. But very few are actually willing to suffer for it. And that's the difference. Because make no mistake, discipline is suffering. Waking up early when your body wants to sleep is suffering. Saying no to distractions when you crave comfort is suffering. Training when you're tired, working when you're unmotivated, pushing forward when everything in you wants to stop, that is suffering. But it is the kind of suffering that builds you. It is the kind of suffering that makes you strong. And if you refuse to go through that suffering now, then you will suffer for it later. Because here's the truth. If you don't discipline yourself, life will do it for you. And life is a far harsher teacher than you will ever be to yourself. Life will humble you. Life will break you. Life will take away opportunities, strip you of confidence, and leave you in a place where you finally understand that you wasted the time you had. And when that moment comes, you will beg for another chance. You will beg for more time, more opportunities, more strength to do what you should have done when you had the chance. But it will be too late. So stop waiting, stop making excuses, stop thinking that you have more time than you do. You either sacrifice now or you suffer later. You either do what needs to be done today or you regret it tomorrow. The choice is yours. But understand this, Once time is gone, it's gone forever. You will never get it back. So stop delaying, stop hesitating, stop making excuses. Take control of your life. Do the hard things now so that one day you won't have to live with regret.